This is the Ethan Young Podcast. I am Ethan Young. You are beautiful. If nobody's told you that today, I'm happy to be the first one. Welcome. It's good to see you. We get those electrolyte supplements, and when I first started giving them to my son, I'd call it electric light. So he was just asking me, he was like, is that electric light? And I was like, yeah. And then, but like I pointed, he's got like Propel and he's got like liquid IV and stuff. And I pointed on there and he was like, oh, electrolyte. And then I pointed to the other one. He's like, oh, electrolyte. He's like, oh, but he was referring to a particular one that we used to drink that I still typically put some sort of electrolyte supplement in his like water bottle when he goes to school or like, in his lunch. And he uses them as well. I don't know why. I don't like water as much. I will drink way more fluid if I just put some sort of little thing in there. And like those liquid IVs are nice, but they're like fucking like $1.25 a piece, which is like not the worst thing in the world. But the way we drink them, you go through quite a few. And so like the Propels are like, they're nothing. They're like less than 10 cents, I think. So that's way more realistic, right? Because then you can just drink a shitload of them and it's not a big deal. But anyway, point being, that's a glass of what we have called electric light for a long period of time. I don't know. It's one of those things you tell your kid, I guess. Helps, goddamn. It sucks I don't have like it's nothing to complain about, but all like the influence as far as what he eats, you know what I mean? I see like parents that have their kids eating shit that I'm like, goddamn, Breck would never eat that. He's so picky. And then of course I see like the other side of things where they're like, yeah, all he eats is like macaroni and cheese and chicken nuggets and fucking all that kid shit that I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't make it all that often, but those are definitely things that he will eat. Lately, it's been scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs has been a good one, so that's pretty tight. That's, oh well, that's what I said. Yep, gotta sit with it now, and it's really easy, right? So it's like, it just takes a few seconds, and I don't know. I kind of think back to all the times that people fucked up scrambled eggs in my life. I'm like, they're not that goddamn hard, and like, not to mention like, I remember so many times I'm taking these big old deep breaths because I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I remember all these times that like I waited forever for scrambled eggs and they take like 90 seconds. It's so funny. No, I don't know. My dad used to make some pretty badass scrambled eggs, but he would put like bacon or sausage or something like that in there, and so it's not really that unrealistic because of course you got to get the bacon out and take it out of the you got to take it out of your packaging, whatever that may be, and then you got to cook it, of course, and then that takes a minute. And then like if you're gonna do something with the grease or whatever, point being, he was doing a lot more than just the simple scrambled eggs that I typically do. I tried to zhuzh them up. I don't know if that's I don't know what that term is from. Hopefully I didn't use some term that I'm not supposed to, but I've tried to like put basil in them and shit, and he's like, he won't eat it. He's like, no, dude, what's that green stuff in there? Swear to God, even if he'll see like, they have that garlic salt. There's like a pretty good, I don't know, I think it's with like Lowry's or something. I probably just made that up. I don't know what it is. There's a pretty good garlic salt that's got like a green top on it. And it's got some parsley in it, and he seems to be okay with that. This is good. He even called me out one time. One time I forgot it. One time I forgot the salt, and he called me out. He was like, dude, I don't like eggs without salt. But yeah, just mention that because I don't know. Good that at least he likes one thing that's, I don't know. A lot of kids probably like eggs. I haven't taken a poll. I don't know what kind of kids would answer. I'm happy I don't know how to get that out there, but that's okay. I was thinking about a kid's show though. I was thinking about SpongeBob. And I haven't seen the episode in years, but for some reason I was reminded of this. There's this episode where SpongeBob, his neighbor Squidward, right? He like forever, he's always annoyed by SpongeBob, right? So he wants like his perfect world, and he finds it. He finds this place where like he can. Everybody plays clarinet just like him. Everybody enjoys, polite behavior just like him. everybody at the store eats the same shit that he does. And again, I haven't seen it in years, but the point is, it's the perfect world because everybody's exactly like him. And it doesn't take very long after he gets himself into this town and he's going through all the perfect days before he gets bored. And he misses the chaos. And then he himself has to start enacting the chaos that previously was maybe in his life because of SpongeBob and Patrick, his neighbors, that weren't anything like him and didn't behave the same way he does. He don't like the same things he does. And obviously the easy connection is just like, I think too many people are just trying to create this perfect world with all these people that are exactly like them with the exact same thoughts. And if you actually got that, I don't think it would be what we think it is. I know it's silly to compare it. Excuse me. It's silly to compare it to some children's cartoon, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not saying there was a lesson to learn there, but what if, a lot of people have in some way actually put themselves in, what do they call it now? I swear, I think it's called an echo chamber or something like that. I could be using that term wrong. Should I look it up? It'd take me 65 minutes, right? Totally not worth it. Then I'll lose my train of thought and everything. I heard somebody say the other day, you can't think and type. What causes echo? Oh, it's echo. It's echo. Is it? Is that it? Is it really? Is it echo? I may have always misheard. Is that so funny? So luckily Google's smarter than I am. It put an H in there. The echo chamber effect occurs online when a harmonious group of people amalgamate and develop tunnel vision. Participants in online discussions may find their opinions constantly echoed back to them, which reinforces their individual beliefs due to the declining exposure of other opinions. Yeah, so it's so interesting how the obvious comparison or analogy to our lives would be people are creating this echo. I thought it was echo chamber. That's so funny. At least I questioned it. At least we looked it up and we learned together. You probably already knew and you're like, God damn, you're an idiot. But hey man, gotta learn sometime, right? So here we are. But I just think it's interesting how the character in that cartoon found out very quickly that when he was only surrounded by people that thought the same way he did and liked the same things that he did, that it was very boring. And it was actually more interesting to be, say, in a pool of different people that are all from different backgrounds that like different things. And I don't know, it's just a cartoon, right? But I just think that or in some other ways, it seems like the whole goal, my son asked me a pretty interesting question and I could probably go a couple different avenues with it and forget what the fuck I'm talking about, unfortunately. And I apologize. I just kicked the camera. What a slacker. Probably because I'm getting nervous because I'm like, God damn it. I think I should keep going down the road I'm going, but I see this avenue and we could take a turn here. My son asked me a question recently and he goes, if you had the choice, would you take $1 billion? And I'm thinking fuck, dude, whatever you offer me, I'm probably going to take the billion. I think my mind's already made up and that's probably the truth. No matter what he said, I was probably fucking taking the billion. He's like, or world peace. And I was like, damn it, cause I was like, okay, the answer's supposed to be world peace. The answer's supposed to be, I would take world peace for everybody. But I was like, the truth is, man, I'd take the money. I would totally take the money. And I think that a lot of people, if given the spotlight, would say world peace. But I think if in a dark room with no cameras, somebody offered you $1 billion, I mean, I don't know. 'Cause Okay, so yeah, that was the thought, is like before was like world peace, right? It's like, so, you know, maybe different than the cartoon, so to speak, but like you get exactly what you want and there's no more conflict. Don't people need chaos in some way or another? That's the ultimate point that I guess I'm trying to make. I should have probably buried it a little bit better, but like, don't we kind of need chaos? Maybe even just on a microscopic scale, in the sense of like our day to day. Like, for instance, if you follow JRE, which a lot of people do, I personally do, just the fact that Joe Rogan has said, like, if you get some sort of exercise each day and like conquer some sort of chaos in your day, it helps with your mind. It helps with the way you feel. And I think, for instance, that's something that we can, on a larger scale, look at too, that like people need this chaos, I think, in some ways or another. Like they need this something to conquer. Like because you think about, like, okay, yeah, a lot of people said that like wars are fought for resources and things like that, right? But then like I think back and it's like, isn't there wars in like tribes? Isn't there wars in like just tribes in Africa that have way less resources than the countries that we're dealing with today? And then it's like, on the other end of the spectrum, maybe you think that there's a military industrial complex, and maybe you think that a lot of people have a lot to gain and a lot of money to be made in the fact that defense companies get to continually make these arms, and as long as the war is going on, wherever it may be, and the more that there is, the more money there is to be made. Or maybe you think that these conflicts are legitimate, and maybe you think that the reasons that they're given the reasons that they're given the world are legitimate. Or maybe it's somewhere in between, and who really knows, right? But I don't actually know if world peace is possible, and I don't mean to be a cynical asshole, but it's like, is it? It is, like, for instance, I guess you think back to just those tribes and what were they fighting for? Like, just, I have no idea. I guess I need to do more research. But the point being is, like, they weren't like fighting for oil, or they weren't fighting for resources of any kind. And obviously, again, we don't always know all of the reasons. And I've been wrapped up in the news, and the news just happens to have such a large percentage covering that war in Ukraine, with the Russians in Ukraine. And it's just like, I've made it, my most elementary attempts to try to cover what I believe I see. But even still, I don't believe that what we're provided is everything. I don't believe that what we see is all there is to know. And so, unfortunately, it's like, I just don't think I'm being cynical by saying world peace may not be a possible thing. And then it's like, I may have just some sort of barbaric idea of it anyway, because like, first you think about it and it's like, okay, wouldn't some asshole come along eventually that has something to prove? Wouldn't some individual, regardless of how large their forces are or how big they can grow their following, like, wouldn't some idiot come along? And then so it's like, my, again, probably just barbaric thought on it is, wouldn't we have to have a trained to put that person in check if they say didn't listen to the agreement that's been made between all these other people? Say the entire world gets together and they just say, all right, yep, eternal peace, we're all going to do eternal peace. Even if just one asshole disagrees, if they don't answer to our nice responses, doesn't somebody have to put them in our place, and in their place, excuse me? And then it's like, therefore, don't we have to have trained, prepared military at all times, no matter what anyway? Because like, we don't want to run into that situation where there is some force, regardless of how large, and we're not prepared for it. So it's like, no matter what, we would still have to have a military, because it'd be better not to use it and to have it than to not have it, right? I mean, it's like, it's a tough thing to ask anyway, but I don't even know if it's possible in the first place. So it's just like, even if we were there to enforce it, ultimately, am I wrong? Am I just thinking like a caveman in the sense that if somebody just kept not responding to our peaceful asks, peaceful requests to respond in the way that the entire world has agreed that we're going to behave, well, eventually, if somebody doesn't do that, you know what I mean? Like, say, God damn it. Again, I don't know enough about it. I should talk about it, but like, say Putin, you know what I mean? He doesn't respond. Everybody has agreed to world peace, and say some individual like Putin says, you know what I mean? I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. I'm going to launch supersonic missiles. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, blast whatever, raise, you know, that fucking, that's such a crazy, isn't that such a crazy word? Like, I saw that in a headline this week, raise, right? R-A-Z-E, raise, and it means fucking, doesn't it mean to like demolish completely? Doesn't it mean to eliminate everything? But it's weird because like raise is to create, right? It's like to bring upon, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's so crazy how like raise and raise are different, but aren't they? Like, I got to make sure that I'm using that right. Completely destroy building, town, and other site. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That's so crazy. But they had said that like he completely raised that. I've heard it said so many different ways. Botterpool. But again, it's not mine to talk about. I just don't think we're given all the. I have only responded to the information that I have been given in the most elementary ways that I have based upon the knowledge and experience that I have. And that is probably just a fucking fraction of what's actually going on, the information that I've even been responding to. And then so it's just like, it's not something to get. I have been too caught up into it because of the amount of it. I guess I see it each day and that it is in the news, but I can't. It just doesn't do me any darn good. You know what I mean? It's like that, as Joe Rogan would say on JRE. It's like that Bill Hicks joke where you know they're talking about. I've never even heard the goddamn joke, but the idea that I have gotten from it is that they talk about how crazy all the shit is, and then you look outside and there's birds chirping outside your window and everything's okay, and it's just like. That's really how it is most of the time, you know what I mean? I don't know, so I shouldn't get too crazy. And I guess my point in saying all that is like I don't think we could just have world peace unless you had an ability to enforce it. Like somebody like him, you know what I mean, just comes and blows through a town like that, completely destroys a town. The only way to respond to that would have to be eventually. And again, maybe I am just a caveman. Maybe I don't see all the angles, but I feel like you'd have to eventually, like, you know what I mean? When he's killing civilians and stuff like that, don't you have to make some sort of lethal response? Like, I'm sorry, but that's my point in saying that is like, no matter what, even if we all agreed, somebody's going to come along that doesn't agree with that. So it's like, it just seems like it's a lot to ask. And then again, like, even if we got that, even if conceptually we got that, we got world peace and everybody's just peaceful, don't we all need within us some amount of chaos? Isn't that weird to say? It's almost like you can't just have, I don't know. Is that wrong? Like, again, why did these tribes need to fight? You know what I mean? Why has there always been war? Why has there always been conflict? Why has there always been some sort of, battle? It seems like between some even. You know, God damn it, I was going to try to say animals, but then I don't have any example that I can give, so I'm full of shit. Damn it. I was trying to really back up my point there, but I don't have a good example of animals battling. Do animals? Oh, fucking yeah, dude, yeah, animals battle. Shit, I was like all nervous, and I was going to say animals, but dude, what about like fucking rams? Like, I live in Colorado. What about those fucking sheep, bro? Don't they fucking slam their heads into each other's? That's like a battle, isn't it? For God's sakes, they're fucking. I think I heard somewhere. Don't they get like fucked up when they do that? Like they probably get gnarly concussion. They're probably like, oh yeah, I think they get like some sort of like euphoric effect. I probably made that up. Oh, that's funny. There is definitely battles in nature. Yeah, or like what about elk? Right? They totally fucking stab the shit out of each other. They use those horns as fucking swords, bro. Yes. Yes. So see, and then so like even if we establish world peace, the animal kingdom is not going to adhere to this. Yeah, dude. And then what about like hyenas and shit like that? I've watched Lion King too many times. I took my son to Lion King too many times. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'd like to think that the savannah has some sort of chaos in similar ways, where like the hyenas are chasing down and killing things, and that's not just in Lion King. Hey, you saw Lion King too, don't you know what I mean? Like it's, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, dude. So even if we agree, like, okay, no more chaos. First of all, like, aren't we all gonna be like fucking animals in the zoo? Aren't we all gonna be like, you know what I mean? Like ready to having like some sort of energy inside of us that we need to explode out. You're like, dude, wait till your testosterone fucking, you know what I mean? Like, wait till you lose that shit. Then come back and talk to me in 10 years. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I guess it just seems like even if we all ask for peace, clearly that's not something we can communicate to the rest of the mammals, and even probably, yeah, dude, fish fuck each other up, dude. Even not beyond the mammals, dude. All the rest of the world. So we all agree to world peace, us humans. First of all, don't think it's possible. Second of all, think some asshole's gonna come along. Yep. So it's just like I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong to take the money. I'd like to think that most people, if they could turn the camera off in the room and make sure everybody's phone was in a bag outside the room, maybe sign some NDAs, I think that we could get a lot of people, if given the opportunity, to take the same choice. But my now 8-year-old son sure looked at me like I was a piece of shit. He was like, you know what I mean? I can't even probably look at you with the disappointment that I received from him. But yeah, I guess at an innocent and young age. And again, I've only given a couple sides, but I'd love to see what you guys think. If you haven't already given your opinion because you think I'm like ready to turn a corner, you're like, I need some guidance here. If you haven't already given your opinion, please feel free to comment and let me know what you think. If you think the world peace is even possible, you know what I mean? It makes me most think of like, obviously like what, Miss Congeniality, that movie with Sandra Bullock, and like that's everybody's answer. I've never actually watched any sort of pageants, but that's what I was gonna say is for like a pageant like that. But really, it's from Miss Congeniality. Mrs. Congeniality, that Sandra Bullock movie, dude. Yeah, everybody knows. But anyway, I will be right back. I'm back. So you guys have to let me know. Would you take $1 billion or would you take world peace? What's the right answer for you? What's the right answer for your family? Would you rather have the $1 billion and feel like maybe you guys are set up for ever? You know, unless that guy, I don't know who he is because I didn't remember his name and I don't remember what the fuck I was listening to, but there was something I heard where there was some sort of gathering and there was an individual, and I wish I had the details, but it's that guy. Like he was, Joe Rogan was even making fun of him the other day. He was talking to him on the podcast with Dan Soder. And they were even like making fun of his voice and stuff like that. And people have talked about how he's a villain. I think it was Russell Brand. Maybe Russell Brand has talked about how he's like a fucking Bond villain. And that's the same thing that Joe Rogan said. And it's very interesting how multiple people from multiple different sides of the planet could make the same, you know what I mean, observation of this individual. But I can't remember his goddamn name, so I don't remember who the fuck he is. But there was something, and I don't remember what I was listening to, so I'm not going to send you in that direction. I hate to say I'm sorry. But he was saying that they're going to move to it was Russell Brand, now that I think about it. He said that we were going to move to an entirely digital currency. So basically it was like the idea that I basically got from it was like the whole reason that people were moving to a digital currency in the first place was to get it decentralized, but now the governments are going to get involved and they're going to centralize it, and then they would basically create where all currency was digital, and you would basically, I think, eliminate other kinds of currency, the way I took it, which is fucking crazy. But I guess point being, hopefully the $1 billion would take care of you for a really long time. But if it became that some other currency was into play, and now you have to be, following some other currency, and maybe U.S. dollars are not as important as they once were, hopefully they'll always be worth at least something. Maybe, you know what I mean? Who knows what will happen? Who knows what inflation will do, and who knows what continuing to print money will do? But I guess we'll find out what's going to happen on that. But also, I just thought it was interesting, like so I'd be interested to see what everybody feels. Please feel free in the comments to respond and let us know what you think about that. And I'd also be interested to see, for instance, if you got your own perfect world, do you think you'd get bored after a period of time? Like, don't you think if all these people that are trying to surround themselves with, again, we found out it was an echo chamber, that are just surrounded with people that think the same way that they do, and just surrounded with people that act the same way that they do, don't you think that would get boring after a period of time? So it's just like I feel like a couple things to take from that are pretty interesting, but be curious to see what you guys think. And if you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to subscribe now. Do it in the bottom right hand corner of the video, and you can like this video at the bottom as well. And I'd just be interested to see what you guys think about that. And I've obviously given you what I think about that. And like I said, I'm sure there's more avenues to look at it, but I guess doing it on the fly is not always the most entertaining thing, and so it's like I haven't necessarily thought in advance anything else that I can I haven't really thought through them, I guess to say. But I just wonder if sometimes we need some sort of conflict, or if sometimes we need something to conquer, whether again it be in our life each day, or if it be total as like a as a nation or whatever it is. One of the things that they're always talking about that it seems to scare the shit out of people is that social credit score idea, which obviously, I would hate that. I just think it would be something that I would easily I think you'd get wrapped up in trying to make sure that you made the perfect decisions if you found out, but I would probably be some secret, right? I hate to say, or just it would be some sort of decided upon by some large form of leaders that continue to rule regardless of who else we see as the face that we're dealing with on a consistent basis. So those folks, whatever they decided was going to be the damn it, no, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, the criteria for the social credit score. Whatever they decided the criteria was going to be, who knows if we would even be aware of what it was, or if we would be aware of what we're going to be rated on, so to speak. But if you did know you were going to get rated on, I guess you may become obsessed with it. Otherwise, you may just continue to live your life, maybe even in protest to it. Otherwise, you just lived your life normally, and then you're going to be rated on things that you don't know, or at least my understanding of it is you don't normally get rated on. Like right now, you just have your normal credit score, for instance, and I guess social credit score is just a way for us to understand it, right? It's just a way for them to label it in a way that we can understand it, and obviously my understanding of it is probably not the most correct one, but I just wonder if, for instance, our currency went to all digital, and then we had some sort of social credit score, it would seem like it'd be very, very, very easy to control our lives. Because if you control the amount of money that we have, you really control a lot of how we can respond and, I don't know, I was going to say respond and react, but maybe those aren't the right words. Maybe interact with the rest of the world. If you control the amount of money that we have, you obviously control the way that we interact with the rest of the world, being also like I mean, unless you have everything paid off and you just have stockpiles of things that you've already paid off, I think eventually you're going to need money to pay things off. And so it's like, it feels like an easy way to control us would be to control our money. And so that's just a fascinating idea. And then the fact that if they move to a social credit score, then you'd even further be able to control us, right? Because then we'd be rated on some sort of criteria, whether we were aware of that criteria or we weren't. You'd be rated on some sort of criteria that would then, I don't know, what, place you upon some scale that would then be, what, affect you in some way or another, right? Is it going to affect your ability to then buy another home if you don't have your home paid off, like in that situation, which they said most fucking people don't. They said most people are going to rent soon. I think it was even that same crazy German guy that I can't remember his goddamn name, but maybe not. It was probably somebody else. I realized I look terrible when I light these like this. You know why my habit of doing that is? It's for the wind. It's for the goddamn wind. If you're like outside in the world and you put a flame up and the fucking wind's blowing, you look like a dipshit. And it just keeps going out, so you like block the wind. But I look like a dipshit when I light these things on these cameras, but that's just my opinion. And now that I told you, you can adopt it. Maybe you weren't thinking that, so maybe it wasn't worth telling you, but I did it anyway. And I had a song in the beginning, and now it's just me telling you. And so probably better off. My instincts probably told me to stop the song, and they were like, hey, stop singing, guy. Stop that forever. There's no wind in here, friend. I'm going to have to come back to we come back. Another SpongeBob thing. 27 years later. Apparently I watched that too much as a kid. I don't know what it is. My son watched it for a good period of time. I guess it's Nickelodeon. Apparently I watched too many Nickelodeon shows. That 2 weeks ago where I had that fucking huge zit. It took until today to come to a head, which is great. I know that's what you want to hear about. I know what you want to hear about is my zits and the pus that comes out of my face. You're like, if you could tell me more about the pus that comes out of your face, that would be fantastic. But this literally took 2 weeks, and my whole point in saying that is I made a reference to a Nickelodeon show, Global Guts, and the Mega Aggro Crag. And then, I realized I made a post the other day about what was it? What the fuck was that show? God damn it, now I can't remember it. Legends of the Hidden Temple, which are all Nickelodeon shows. So apparently I watched a lot of Nickelodeon when I was growing up. It's one of those things you until you're in retrospect, you almost don't realize. And it's then you wonder, how much does that shape your life? And I guess it's it was probably always going to shape your life. It was meant to be. Those are the things that were, you know what I mean? It was always meant to, I don't know, I guess because you could have watched anything, right? But that's what you watched. Interesting. Yeah, you wonder how all those things affect us. I'd be interested to see too what other people think about the idea of free will and how much free will you really think you have every day. Because that fucks me up, man. It really does. I don't know what to think about it. I guess I don't know how far to take it. I get to a point where I'm like, do I exist? I know that sounds fucking crazy, but am I real? Am I a thing? Not really, right? I'm a series of processes, right? No? Aren't we all? And then isn't what we're doing, isn't the universe a series of processes? Isn't it, you know what I mean? Everything together, from a tiny scale to a large scale. Aren't we a series of processes? And isn't the universe a series of processes? I guess that's a really, really, really broad way to put it. But you just wonder, I guess what's that saying? I would hate to misquote it. I could certainly tell you what I think it means. But for instance, you're not say on the edge of the river watching the river go by. You are the river. And so it's everything is just consciousness and its contents all the time. And they're just going to happen. No matter what, they're going to happen. and you can't control that, and you don't control that. You can turn me off right now, but you weren't controlling that I was talking. You weren't controlling that you're hearing me. You're not controlling the things that you're hearing otherwise. You have choices, but you're not, like, these things are just happening, and everything's, I don't know, it's like, that's what I'm saying, like, I could look it up, because I'm just going to butcher the shit out of it, and it's such a, I don't want to say convoluted, but there's so much to it that I feel like I have to hear it over and over again to even understand what the fuck we are and what's going on. But, sometimes I wonder if I'm real. Sometimes I wonder, I mean, obviously, if I make decisions, but it's like, and wasn't I always determined to do that? Probably. I was going to say maybe, and then probably, and then I said probably. But, ooh. It's probably, that's good. It's probably just my headphones. It's like, I hear static, but hopefully it's just my headphones, because there's no reason for the everything's I'm singing again. Why singing? Why am I singing? But yeah, how did I get to that from the social credit score idea? Probably because I don't know much about that. I'm fearful of it. I guess that's the only thing. It's like, that's why it's on my mind. And then whatever I heard from that guy, which he just keeps coming up, and that's the only reason why I wish I could remember his name. It's some crazy, like, German name. And again, they were talking about it on JRE with Dan Soder. I bet I could look it up, but probably not fast. So if I cut right now, it's because it took me way too long to find it. Yep. No, it's all good. It doesn't matter. You should look him up. I'm good at doing research, huh? Fucking slacker. Dude, you know what's another thing they were talking about at JRE the other day that I thought was funny? For instance, a couple weeks ago, I had thought about talking about the presidential fitness program that they did when we were kids. And my take on it was probably fucking crazy, honestly. But then I heard Duncan Trussell on JRE, so talking to Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how the presidential fitness was just like the level, basically, and this is what I got from it, and could be misquoting what he said, but my take from it was that he thought that was a high bar that was set. And so, like, the presidential fitness was not something he was capable of doing. Now, I never even would have thought to bring up my conversation because, again, I was like, well, it's probably a dumb take, and everybody already thinks it. And my take on it is even horrible now that I think further about what I was going to say about it. But the idea was like, I did not think that at all. I thought it was the easiest shit ever. I thought that they literally, I was like, maybe in the years past, this must have been created like decades ago when maybe the standards were not so high, or maybe just they didn't, right? Like, I mean, didn't they run the mile like quicker and quicker as time went on? I might be wrong to say that, but I think the earliest guys weren't, like, say, jumping as high or running as far or running as fast. And I think that the world record times in certain events like that got better and better as time went on. And so, like, I thought maybe the standards that had been set were set on a time where it was really easy to accomplish everything. Like, I always literally was like, these are the easiest fucking things ever. And my personal thought on it was like, it's probably gotten worse, right? Because, like, what I have taken from what I've seen on the news, and again, who knows what the fuck is true ever and what we see is correct, but it seems like our youth is getting a little bit thicker than, say, they were generations ago. And I guess I think everybody's getting a little bit thicker than they were generations ago. And I may not be silly to say that. It may not just be the news outlets that I'm, reading. But I thought, well, it's probably getting worse, right? But if Duncan's Trussell takes was like, it was too high of a bar. And I was like, geez, I thought it was the easiest thing ever. And it's just so interesting how our bodies are completely different, right? I mean, that I was out of shape. I never took care of myself. I never did anything. I ate chips. I was a piece of shit. And then I got fat as fuck, dude. I got gigantic. I got disgustingly huge. I was like 260 pounds probably at my highest. But eventually I realized, hey man, I don't want to do this anymore, and I feel like shit. I gotta say, this week I have been terrible. And one of my biggest thing I noticed is the groggy feeling. That groggy feeling that you get goes away when you eat good food. And I'm not just being a shithead, but I'm just saying, you literally feel better when you're eating better food. It's like you don't feel as tired. You're not as like I want to, like, I literally want to lay on my back. Like, for instance, my son's birthday was in April, and then we had this, it was ridiculous. Like, it was so ridiculous that I knew my son wouldn't even eat all of it. And so I was like, part of it, the cake, he didn't even like, but I was like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So they created a normal New York cheesecake. Just a normal, delicious, fucking probably 12-inch diameter New York cheesecake. Then they piled multiple layers of full fucking brownies on top of that cheesecake. So you have a cheesecake, and then they take multiple layers of brownies, not like perfectly stacked or anything like that, but just like, kind of thrown on the top. So, you know what I mean? If you drop them on the top of a cheesecake, they're kind of going to find a little area and plant, almost like a golf ball that goes really high up in the air. And then when it comes down on the green, it kind of sticks in it a little bit. And people use that dumb little tool. I shouldn't say dumb. I just have never been good at golf. And I think some of the golfers are just such pricks. And I think it's because my stepdad was a golfer and he was such a prick. And so then I'm like forever just thinking golfers are pricks. It just seems like, it's all good. Anyway, you got to use that little tool and you got to like pull it back up. So it seems like the brownies can they can fall and like they create a little area, and then the next layer of brownies falls on top of them. Then they drizzled caramel all over the top of that. So then they went back and forth with caramel all over the top of the brownies. And then they chopped up some sort of nuts. I'm probably walnuts or something like that. So then they chopped up walnuts and sprinkled it over the top, and it stuck in all the tops of the brownies and all the caramel. So we had that in our fridge forever after his birthday, and I ate way too much of it at all times of day that I shouldn't have. And I would want to lay on my back and sleep. Like, I just want to go to bed. I'm like, something's wrong with me. But I think that's just what I was destined to do. I was destined to just take a nap on my back after I ate fucking cheesecake and brownies and caramel and chopped nuts. Oh my God. It's amazing. There are those places though, like, wow, we have this area in northern Colorado. It's called Crumble. I mean, they're just making some things. I've never eaten them, but wow, they're amazing. And they make these like pretty pink boxes as well, so it really catches your eye. There's this other place like Peace, Love, and Tiny Donuts or something like that. That's in Loveland. They're pretty cool. Anyway, point being, if you're into sweets, holy cow, these days they're making some very creative and crazy sweets. My mouth is watering. As what Guy Fieri says, Flavorjets. I got Flavorjets flying right now. But that's a little more exciting than a social credit score, I guess. Don't know how I got on that. Probably just because I'm a fat pig, and I wanted to share my, as it's been called before. It's funny, I didn't realize, I guess, purging is puking, but the term binging and purging, I've used that before. I actually had talked about like bulimia that I struggled with when I was younger. I swear I just felt like a fucking toilet flush. Maybe not. I heard something. I had struggled with bulimia that it is literally probably fucking the world saying, shut up, you man, talking about weight problems. Yeah. But I literally had talked about it that episode, so it wasn't so weird that I said binging and purging. But then later I realized, oh fuck, purging is puking. They mean puking, but I had talked about that, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, just my constant like struggle with like eat sweets, don't eat sweets, eat sweets, don't eat sweets. I'll go weeks without doing it, and then I break down, man. I just all of a sudden I'm like, fuck, I gotta do it, and I do it. It's bad. I don't know what it is. It's I guess because you get to a point and you're like, man, the truth is, you say, yeah, I tell myself, I go, I deserve it. I tell myself I deserve it, and I know I'm just justifying poor behavior. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Oh my God, I was thinking about that though. Oh, I'd never mentioned it at all, but it reminds me of something else. So, when I used to drink a lot, I feel like I literally feel like I would be in a trance for maybe fucking years. I know that sounds crazy, but maybe be in a trance for literally years and only wake up every so often. Like you just get in doing the motion of things. And it reminded me of this because I said, I tell myself I deserve it. But in that time, when you get home from working a long day, I would say, well, I deserve a drink. I deserve to take alcohol, and I deserve to relax. And this is how I wind down, and I got to go back and do it tomorrow, and this is my treat, and I get this. And of course, it just became a problem because you drink more and more and more, and then you want to drink more often, and it's all the time, and then it's just, fuck, I hate that now. I fucking hate feeling like shit the next day. Like, again, I guess that's just one of those things where if you're eating bad food all the time, you're just used to that lethargic, non-energy feeling. If you're drinking every night, you're just used to the next day the way you feel. When you only drink, say, once in a week or not very often, that next day after you drink, you feel like shit. Or I should just speak for myself, but I do not feel the same. Anytime I'm like, God, I feel fucked. And I'm like, oh yeah, I drank yesterday. Oh yeah, duh. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like it makes me feel terrible. But if you're just in that if you're just in it, you don't realize it. You almost just like you just do it every day, right? You go to work and you spend your entire fucking day working and focused up, and then you're like, thank God I finally got off, and you have your drink. But then that time goes by real fast, and you got to get ready for the next day. And like, at that time, like I had to iron and stuff. I had to get my clothes ready for the next day, or you know what I mean. Anytime, even now, you got to. If I have my son, half the time it's like I got to get his lunch ready. I got to get his clothes out. I got to make sure that we're backpack packed. We're all ready for the next day. And so it's like you always have even some sort of obligations when you get home in these few little time. Like I heard I almost didn't realize it. I guess it's silly to say because you almost don't realize that you're supposed to have 8 fucking hours to you. I guess it doesn't feel like that much, right? It doesn't, somehow I feel like I may not be utilizing that well, but you're right. Cause I guess technically if you got 8 hours of sleep and you got 8 hours to the work, that leaves you with 8 hours. And I'm like, God damn, do I really have 8 hours? Cause I'm not making the most of those 8 hours. I'm really not doing that. But then also it's like, how much of your day is just completely wrapped up in your job? I mean, how much of your life is just wrapped up in your job, right? And it's like every day that's what you do. You just spend so much time there, and it's like it seems like leaves so little time to, like, say, your family and your loved ones and your passions and anything else you love and you want to do. I don't know, man. I can't even remember why I'm talking about this. Oh yeah, I was just thinking like, but then you get it. I don't know. It just seems like I'll go forever. And then it's like I wake up and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'd been doing this for years, like, and then you're like, oh fuck, it's been 2 years, it's been 3 years, and you're like, holy shit, like you're just in these trances where, yeah, you deserve it, but then you don't realize it, as these days just keep passing and passing and passing. Like I couldn't believe, I know it's dumb to say, but like some episodes have gone wrong. There's been audio issues or like video issues or things have gotten fucked up. So I haven't published every single one of them, but I've been doing this for 6 months now. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Like, but time just keeps fucking going on, and, yeah, it's funny to remind you of that. as you're like, shit, what am I doing here? Why am I listening to you? Why do I have this flag? I have shit I need to be doing. I gotta go fucking water the lawn. I had mentioned episodes back that I want to take better care of my lawn this year, and god damn it, it sounds so stupid, but if you just fucking water it, it's amazing. I just water. I relied way too much on our automatic system, and it didn't run near enough last year, and so basically, it's crazy how the ground in Colorado will just absolutely drink up the water that you give it. Like, I will water the shit out of it, and it would just drink it up so fast. Like, you really, it's silly to say, but you realize why people hire landscaping companies, because it's just like, literally maintaining your lawn is a full goddamn time job, and if you can have somebody that's all that they do, it can be worth your time at a period. It's so crazy. It's like, I guess it's not. It's why there's businesses for everything, you know what I mean? Because people don't have time for everything, and you realize, like, especially, yeah, like there's been times I was outside and I watered for like 2 goddamn hours. Like, I know that sounds silly, but I almost didn't realize it because I was just trying to cover all the yard, and I was doing it by hand, and it takes like a long ass time. And then when you're 2 hours in, you're like, holy shit, I just wasted 2 hours of my fucking day. Which, again, this is probably where I didn't realize I had 8 goddamn hours to myself. Did you realize that? Did you know you have 8 hours to yourself? And that's, I guess, in a job where you only work 8 hours, because I've worked a lot of hours where they just keep you forever and ever. And I'd also be curious to see how people responded to that presidential fitness program. Was that something that you thought was fucking crazy easy? My son hasn't got into it now, so I don't know what they're teaching the kids now, or if the results are hard. One thing that I know is I never not once ever did good on the reach. The sit and reach, there I fucking suck dick at. I just happen to now be doing yoga for like probably a year and, I don't know, a few months. So it's the only time in my entire life ever that I would be good at that. And I know that sounds crazy, but I even tell my son that all the time, because he's like, I just can't fucking do it, which is so cute. I got him a yoga mat for his birthday, and I don't know, it's so cute. Just that, again, it's not his favorite thing to do, but he'll do it. But then I got him a yoga mat, so that at least he's got a little extra reason to come and enjoy it. But that was cute. I really enjoyed that. But he'll be like, I can't do these poses, like I can't get there yet. And I'm like, dude, I couldn't either, I promise. Like, it takes a long time. You have to keep doing it. But point being, the one thing that I fucking sucked at was a sit and reach. Like, I never had good, what do they call that? I don't even know what it's called. Flexibility. I never had good flexibility. But nowadays, crazily enough, I actually can do, like, what do they call that? I don't know. Reach for your toes, I guess is the idea. I can't remember what it's called, that I feel silly. But I will be right back. I'm back. I was curious. Why do we need to know about Johnny Depp's divorce trial? Doesn't that just seem like something that we should leave to them? I'm not trying to be stupid, but like, there's a million things that I want to say at times in my life. I should say there's been times in my life where there was things I wanted to say, as an example, about my son's mother, and I didn't, because I'm just like, isn't there some things that you just kind of want to deal with, maybe with few spectators? Like, for instance, shouldn't this just be one part of his life? Like, I understand that he's an actor, and I understand that he's gotten into a situation where his entire life is a spectator. We're all watching. But isn't this one of those times where, like, you'd be like, hey, you know, I'm dealing with a divorce. I'll be back in like 3 months. You know what I mean? And then he just comes back afterwards, and like, then they just kind of like, either they tell us how it went, or like, isn't it like, I saw it on my son's television. They were like, you know how the smart TV sometimes will revert back to like SmartCast? I should just say on this TV in my son's room, it will revert back to what they call SmartCast if you're not turning it off or using it on a certain input. And so, for instance, it was just flashing advertisements on it, and it said like, I think it said like Johnny Depp, Amber Heard trial or whatever. I shouldn't have quoted her name or anything, because I don't know if her name's Amber. I don't even know. I don't even know if her last name's Heard. Forgot, for all I know. I probably made that up. God damn it. Now I got to look it up. Amber Heard is an American actress. I think that is it. Okay, Johnny vs. Depp and Amber Heard, the shocking trials, wildest moments. But this is what I'm saying. I haven't read any of these articles. All I've seen is headlines. All I've seen is these advertisements. Isn't that, unless it's their choice? I guess that's, I should step back. I haven't learned a lot. I should have maybe not made an opinion before I learned enough about it. Are they advertising it? Are Johnny Depp and Amber Heard advertising their divorce in a way to monetize? Are they using this? Because if so, and people are interested, hey, cool, man. That I understand. They understand this is a hot topic. They understand people will be interested, and they're selling it. If we're all just like prying into their life, like, I'm not trying to be the fucking noble guy here. Personally, I just don't give a fuck. I don't care about how his divorce is going. I kind of think that's a personal thing. I think that shit sucks. And I think that it's something that we should just be like, hey man, you need a couple months? Cool, dude. Check back in with us. We'll see you when you let me know if you need any help. Let us know if there's anything we can do for you. But otherwise, we understand that you're going through some things, and we're going to just take a step back for a little while. Like, am I fucking crazy? But again, if they're selling it, okay, they're selling it, and they're like, hey, I would like to monetize on this situation in our life because maybe we're not going to go through this anymore. Cool, man. Hey, good on you. You're right. There's lots of people apparently interested. If they're advertising it and it's 14 hours ago there was a story, 2 days ago there was a story, 14 hours ago there was a story, those are different stories. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was like, yeah, one. It doesn't matter. But you know what's funny though? In one previous episode, I'd mentioned how it's so fucking goddamn confusing. And I don't mean to cuss so much. Sometimes when I look back and I see how many times I cussed, I'm like, guy, relax. Just say nothing. Just cool it for a minute. You know what I mean? You don't need to swear if you don't know what to say. It always seems like that sometimes, right? When you're just like, sometimes I'm like, how many times did you swear? And why? Not that it's that bad. I understand. I'm not trying to be, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought now. I guess I was saying not that I'm trying to be like some sort of, uppity fucking preppy guy saying that we don't talk about that. Like, that's their business. We don't talk about that. Like, I'm not trying to be like that. I'm just saying, it doesn't interest me. I don't understand why we'd be interested. I don't understand why we'd be like, oh, she did what? He did what? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that just their goddamn business? The worst, probably. Like, that's National Enquirer be so disappointed in me, right? Like, fucking those tabloids, they'd be like, you don't understand the world, son. They'd be like, you missed the point here. You totally missed it. People, what is it? We like that. We need chaos. Does it revert back to the very beginning? Does it revert back to the fact that we need fucking chaos in our life? So we're like living upon their chaos. We need chaos. We don't have any chaos in our life, so we're gonna fucking thrive on the chaos in their life. That's it, isn't it? It reverts right back to the beginning. It reverts back to the same thing we said before. We need chaos in our lives. I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do it on a daily basis, whether we don't exercise and our body didn't experience that physical strain and that physical chaos that we've had for so many thousands of years, or if it's on a global scale, whether we are constantly battling each other over all kinds of stuff, religion, resources. I don't know. I don't know what the things we've been told are legitimate and which ones are a fucking sham. I mentioned before how much money they've spent on Ukraine. I literally can't believe it, but I think it's because it's like, do you ever think like it's all fake anyway, so it doesn't matter? That's what I was saying. Maybe if you get that $1 billion, it might come to a point where it's not worth as much as you thought. You hope the U.S. dollar will always be worth something, but I think it's worth less. Is it worth less now, or no? It's worth more now. I don't know. I don't fucking. No, it's more now. It's less now. I don't know. Fuck, dude. No, it's less now. It's definitely less now, right? Because when they talk about a dollar value from the old times, they say that's worth X now, and it's always a higher amount, right? So doesn't that mean that it's worth less money at this point? I don't know. I think so, right? Because if you went back to that time, you'd have less money. I don't know. You could tell me in the comments. Tell me what you think. I'd be interested to hear your interpretation of that. And also, do you think it's our business? Do you think it's the world's business? And maybe you know more than me. Are they advertising this? Are they sending this out to the world? Are they videoing it and publishing it so that way we can all thrive on the fucking separation? We can all dive into the details of their marriage and their separation. It just seems like we should just leave them be for a minute. But I made my point. Let me know what yours is. I'd be interested to see what you think. Do you think it's worth all of our time? I apparently have not been spending mine well. I apparently spend too much in the yard. I apparently spend too much fucking making sure our yard has water. It is really nice to see, though. Isn't that the dumbest thing? It is when you see, like, after, if you're watering over a long period of time and you actually see growth and you see plants like thriving, it's kind of amazing. It's kind of like, wow, like I did that. I helped with that. Like it's so dumb to say because it sounds so like fucking, I don't know how it sounds. You tell me. It's cool to think like I interacted with the earth and it is in a better position than it was when I got here. You know, it's almost like, I think that whole Avatar thing, right? Wasn't that the idea that maybe like maybe that the forest and stuff is a little more alive than we realize? And I think that's the case. I think maybe that the plants and stuff around us are a little more aware of us and a little more alive than we realize. And I think that it's really nice when you can interact with whatever that is, whatever that life force is, and you can see it thrive. I think it's really cool to see that. Probably similar to our own kids, right? But then again, you realize, like, I just wonder, because it's dumb to see how like I've mentioned it before, but like my dad wasn't around for like the first 9 years of my life, and I have a lot of similar characteristics to him. So it's like, where did I adopt those? They say that you're in your most formative years from you're like 5 to 7, right? Or 3 to 7, whatever it is. Point being, if the things that I've heard are true, I should have been quite a bit developed in my ways by then. I should have already had the role models that explained to me and the things that I learned by then, that I wouldn't have picked up so many things later on. But maybe not. But that's where it's like, maybe fucking it's a lot more nature than you realize. So point being, maybe the amount that I interact is like, you wonder how much it really has to do with it. You wonder how much it's really just like, that's the way they're going to be. Because like, I don't know. That would mean like nothing. I wouldn't mean that, but it would mean like all this work I've done on my son this far. Like he said, he just turned 8. It would mean like next year, things that happen can still influence him and change him. And I guess it's just like, duh. Yeah, of course that, things that influence you can change and stuff, but still not your like personality and fucking the way you respond to things, right? You think you would have developed some sort of instinctual response after 9 years. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'd be interested to hear. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now. This is the time. Use your opportunity as I flash my phone in the bottom of the screen. Dude, the other day, it's so dumb, but the first thing I thought of, I mixed an Onnit Alpha Brain Instant. I think it was a pineapple punch flavor. And I mixed a Propel electrolyte, which is interesting. I was actually talking about that at the very beginning. So I had a raspberry lemonade Propel electrolyte, one of those little ones you just put into a 16.9 ounce bottle of water. And I mixed those both together in a very small amount of water. So it was just one of those 16.9 ounce bottles, but it was less than half. So less than half. So we're talking less than, 9 ounces of water, right? And I put those 2 drink mixes in there, and it tasted like gas station. So if you mix those 2 products, it tastes like urinal cake in a truck stop. Just know that. It was the first thing I thought. It was amazing. It was amazing how much it tasted like fucking gas station, dude. So if you ever decide you want to mix those products and fucking taste truck stop, you got it. No, those Alpha Brain Instants are pretty good. They're delicious. I really like them. I do fear though that maybe, and another thing is too, when you're stuck, I was going to say, I do fear that we're in a daze for years and years, and maybe we just get stuck because of it. Because if you just have to continue making money, if you have to continue making money for your rent, if you have to continue making money for your insurance and your car payment, you have to continue making money for all the things that you need to operate in this world, your phone, your internet, your electricity, your trash, your gas, you just have to continue making sure that you have that amount of money. It's funny, I always like to think, and sometimes I even I'll notice when I respond to my son that I apparently am under some sort of illusion that I'm free to make decisions to do what I want, but not really. I need to make a certain amount of money to pay for all of the things that it just requires to live. And that's before food and gas and all that shit. That's before anything else. You know what I mean? That's before fucking Propel electrolyte packets, whether they be less than 10 cents or whatever it is. That's before that. So it's like you're really stuck. It's like, and then even, I remember when I used to job search a lot and I used to hop around a lot, then you even to you get an interview or something, you have to either take a day off or you have to do it after work. So you still have to do your work to try to meet your whatever your quota is for money to survive, and then you have to try to better yourself and get some better job after that. But otherwise it's you're just in the same you're just doing the same thing over and over and over. And it's weird. I guess it makes me think of that Fight Club movie. It makes me think of Fight Club where he's just every day is a copy of a copy of a copy. And it's kind of if you don't ever have the opportunity to step back and step out of that, you don't realize that you're just you're stuck forever. And it's almost I can easily see myself you can convince yourself that, like I said, you deserve that drink at the end of the day because you don't get a lot of treat. You don't get a lot of opportunity to really go out and soak up the world. You have to be back to work on Monday, or maybe you only get one day off, a week or whatever it is. It's just and then your family, and then, you know what I mean? Then you want to see your family and all that kind of shit. It's I don't know, man. I wonder if it makes us all kind of stuck. If it all just makes us kind of in this haze, in this fucking just daze that, I don't know. They say it's all fake and shit like that, right? It's I have trouble with that. But they say that, mathematicians, right? They say it's more likely that it's a simulation at this point than it isn't. Which is, everybody's got their own opinion. There are Scientologists out there. So, it's who knows how many of those guys that are those mathematician guys. It's there's a group for you. Whatever you think, you'll find somebody for you. Somebody out there. But if I'm I didn't like it. I had a sentence, but it wasn't a good one. I was going to try to make you hit the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button down in the right corner. Singing again. Singing like earlier. Don't know why. All right. Well, I hope you give me your opinion about Depp and Heard. Hope you give me the opinion about the divorce. Hope you give me your opinion about whether or not you think we're in a stuck haze. Hope you just leave a comment or send it to our email. I believe it's ethanyoungpodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, you can find it in the detail in the description. And then, again, you can subscribe in the bottom right-hand corner. You can like the video. You can join us again next week. I'd love to have you. I know there are a number of you that aren't subscribers, so please feel free to subscribe. We love that you're tuning in. Love if you subscribe and you continue to get the content. And, yeah, I think that's it. Just hope that you tune in again next week, and I can't wait to chat with you then. I love you. Take care of yourself. All right? Bye-bye.